Hi, welcome to this 8.1.13 tech preview demo of our OpenSnap Store Manager Common Data Repository. This is also known as OSSM, OSSM. With this tech preview, you're going to be able to get a look at how we're going to be implementing the ability for Spectrum Protect and Spectrum Protect Plus to share a common data repository, which will be a directory container storage pool on Spectrum Protect. And when this becomes available next year, that's going to enable clients to leverage their investment in Spectrum Protect by not having to license and manage a vSnap server and repository separate from their Spectrum Protect server. This will also work to increase the scalability of your Spectrum Protect Plus workloads. So in the future, we will enable the Spectrum Protect Plus workloads to be sent directly to a Spectrum Protect directory container storage pool, and that storage pool would be shared with all of your normal Spectrum Protect data backups. Spectrum Protect will be doing the dedupe and then optionally the compression and encryption on that data that arrives from Spectrum Protect Plus. And then the Spectrum Protect Plus clients would be able to restore their data back from that directory container pool directly using all the different restore methods that are currently available to them. So what's in this tech preview? In this tech preview, we have a simulator that will go out there. It will create a fenced off directory container storage pool on a Linux Spectrum Protect server, and it'll create your client and policies required for the OSSM backup. You will then be able to choose a workload size and generate that workload, which will be simulating a VMware snapshot backup. And that data will be generated and sent to Spectrum Protect as 1 GB files. And you'll see the data then being backed up to the Spectrum Protect directory container storage pool. So with this tech preview, you will have to install a OSSM agent that's part of the Linux server code drop. And there are some requirements if you read the setup notes in the tech note. For instance, the operations center also has to be on the same machine as that Spectrum Protect server, and then the OSSM agent would be installed in that as well. You'll also have to provide some space for the directory container storage pool that we're going to dedicate to this test container. We don't want to mingle any of the simulated data with your actual production data, so we are fencing off in this technology preview that storage pool to be only used for the simulation data. The tech preview also has a cleanup button that you can click to reset and clean up any of the backed up data, the directory container storage pool, and the policies that were created. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the actual demo. So to get started from the Operations Center, you'll see a new tab on the top called Technology Preview. So go ahead and click that. The OSSM server has to have been installed prior to actually running this demo. Otherwise, you'll see in the first column there that the configure button does not exist. So in order to install that OSSM server agent, do read the tech doc, and remember this does have to be on a Linux Spectrum Protect server. The warning does say that this is not intended for production data, but what you do need to be aware of is that we're going to be generating the data underneath the covers, and it is just simulated data. Let's go ahead and start the configuration. Click Configure. You'll notice on the first screen that this information is about the OSSM address, which of course is going to be your local host. The port is hard-coded to 3337, and then the server is your Spectrum Protect server name. Go ahead and click Next. On the second screen, this is a certificate of the OSSM agent REST API, and it's going to be used to create a cell connection so that we can send data to the Spectrum Protect container storage pool. So go ahead and click Accept. On the next screen, it will create a storage pool of the name Tech Preview 1. And if you have not run this tech preview previously, you will have to enter a directory that already exists so that it can create a container storage pool. We've previously run this, so it automatically finds that directory. You can also add additional directories if you need more space. Now the tech doc does help with the sizing of that directory. Go ahead and click Configure. Okay, you'll see that it has created a storage pool and directory if this is the first time that you've run the tech preview. Go ahead and click Close. You'll see that it shows up as active now and that it's assigned to this specific Spectrum Protect server and that we've registered the Spectrum Protect client as TSM inst1 tech preview and then the name of the server. You'll see the storage pool that we're using for the awesome backups and the storage directories underneath that. If you go into clients, you will see the client that the tech preview created. If you go to services policy page, you'll also see that we created a policy, and this was called OSSM Tech Preview 1. Okay, let's go back to the technology preview section. In the future, when this technology becomes generally available, you would simply select the Spectrum Protect container storage pool directly from the Spectrum Protect Plus user interface and then assign Spectrum Protect Plus workloads to back up to that specific container storage pool. So now we can go ahead and generate the workload to back up to this container storage pool. Remember, this is a simulated workload. You're going to first choose a backup size, which is going to be between 10 to 100 gigabytes. And this is going to be the amount of data that we're going to write out to that container storage pool. Next, you'll choose the number of backups that you want to run consecutively, and this can be between 1 to 10 backups. It will also give you an estimated time of how long this will run. So in our case, if we choose 50 gigabytes of data being backed up 3 times, you'll see a 4-minute estimate. You can go ahead and then click Start Simulation. So we'll be creating a volume, which is kind of like a file system where we will write and send the simulated data to. This data is simulating a VMware snapshot that Spectrum Protect Plus uses. So on the right-hand side, you can see in the data column that the first 50 gigabytes of snapshot data has been backed up. And you can actually expand that to see the data that it actually wrote. It will then start the second and third backup, and likewise, once those are finished, you'll be able to expand those as well. Remember, this simulated data is being generated and sent to the Spectrum Protect server, where we are then backing it up into this container storage pool that we created just for this example. Okay, the backup's all completed. If we go out into the command line builder and issue a query occupancy, you'll see for that client that we created, the number of files is 150 that we backed up and about 153,000 megabytes of logical space was used. Another thing you can look at is if you go into storage pool, you can see the container storage pool that we utilized, and you can actually hover over the amount of savings that were achieved during our backups. If you go into details and in the summary page, you'll see also the summary of our savings. And on the right-hand side, you'll see the capacity used over 2 weeks. Remember, in our case, we've been running this tech preview almost every day for the last few weeks. If you go into the properties pages and scroll down, you'll also see the savings that we achieved. It shows a 4-to-1 reduction ratio here. And you can also look at the directories, and you'll see the /sp/sp-cc directory that we're using with this container storage pool. Okay, back in the technology preview section, once you've run this simulation, you can click the reset button, and this will clean up all of the simulation environment. It'll delete the client, it'll delete the references to that client data. The data will be expired off next time the expiration runs, and we'll also delete off the policy. So with that, what I've shown you is the tech preview of our OpenSnap Store Manager. This simulated backup kind of gives you an idea of the technology we're working on to combine both Spectrum Protect Plus and Spectrum Protect backups inside of a container storage pool. Thank you very much.